Okay, today Let's Denim is with Logan Taylor,
Hello.
the person who you should find in this denim industry for whatever you need in the future. He's gonna be next who to find. So, welcome.
Thank you very much,
to
Christian.
this humble channel, Let's Denim.
Humble
So-
beginnings for even brighter futures, right?
Yes, and today I invite you to talk about the manufacturing, and we're gonna actually talk about the true cost and the margin of the manufacturing. So stay tuned until almost to the end, please. Logan has been working in the denim manufacturing side for years, and you're in a tough industry, and I know you're a strong man, but how did you get into this denim industry? And if you can share like a little bit about behind story and background.
Yeah, most definitely. So, I guess getting into the denim industry and getting into clothing are a little bit separate, and I'll give a little bit of intro into how I got into clothing in general. It started when I was in high school. I was really into sneakers, reselling shoes, a part of that hype culture, streetwear culture. I ended up going to one of my SAT prep tests, saw someone with a cool shirt on. I think it was Off-White. I said, "I like your shirt." Talked to him a little bit more. Turned out he was starting his own brand. I said, "I want to work with you." And we started that. I think that was in 2016. That brand was called Natural Division LA. Since then, I've been working on developing products for customers, whether that's knits, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and then that kind of has been going on for the past few years up until I met Christian, I believe about a year ago. And I initially came to him to work on getting one of my customers' denim produced. And then through that interaction, I started working much closer with him, and our relationship has grown since then, and I've gone to learn quite a bit.
At that time, I felt that Logan could be someone like me in the future that who could gain their experience and share to one another, like upcoming customers or new people who needs those services. And I just had that insight, and we've talked few extra times. So Logan, what was your true experience in this tough industry, like daily denim working life? Just tell us about like a real behind the scene kind of mindset and mentality, and treating customer.
I think what you said there about mindset and mentality is very important. Every day you have to wake up, take a deep breath, and prepare for the challenges that lie ahead. In manufacturing in general, I feel it's very difficult, always time to be problem solving. It's kind of up to you how you're going to manage that extra added stress. You could turn it into more problems, or you could turn it into a solution and a better relationship between you and your customer. So I think that mentality is a very, very important thing. Other than that, the true side of it is that it takes a certain type of person that is willing to move. There's a lot you can wait on every day. There's a lot that you could try to wait and be patient for, but it's about getting a little bit closer to that approval and to be able to produce, whether that's through daily direct communication to the customer, going to the vendor, going to the wash houses and checking on your fabric testing. Whatever it is, it's a very, very hands-on industry, and you can't get away without being that way.
You have to be very strong minded person and patient person to manage this industrial works.
Most definitely.
Being in the industry, especially in denim, it's not like it's heavy. It's heavy to control and manage with the big responsibility for customers who's spending big money, and with the patients, trusting us to deliver the quality for them. So every day, without praying, I can't do much, So we try our best, but not perfectly resolved. But, we communicate with customer. The best way is to communicate with the customer the truth of what's being happened, and we try not to hide anything.
No sugarcoating.
Yes,
do our
but
best.
upfront, the better, and communicate and solve the issue together, because we're not perfect, and we do our best, but every single day we face to the problem. So yeah, what was your experience like, and then something that you could think of? Or
in terms of problems, like right now I'm currently facing an issue. It wasn't necessarily a problem, it hasn't occurred yet, but an issue that I was presented with. I have a customer that's upcoming, and we have a production for them around 600 pieces, and of the style we only had around very close to what we needed in terms of the material. And for these materials we need to test the fabric, right, to see how much it shrinks in the length and the width, so we can apply that information to the pattern and make sure after wash the garment shrinks up accordingly. However, on these garments on these rolls of fabric there were 10 different shrinkages. And this creates a very big problem to me, because when I look at all those different shrinkages, I see, okay, well, if we were going to use our normal process and cut on one pattern, after wash, these garments are going to come across completely different size. And although we did our job, the customer isn't going to be very happy. And that's something that I have to catch ahead of time and be able to notice and say, oh, okay, well, if we continue this project as we normally do it, the result's not going to be what we want. So that was a moment I had to kind of take a step back, and lucky enough I had the experience and some mentorship from Christian that it was able to help me see that and then execute the project differently to create the intended result that we're looking for.
Yeah, so every fabric, even it's in same let's say bulk process of being made, and every single roll can move differently. So it depends on the mills, but most of the time we had to test each roll of the shrinkage blanket, especially denim contains those shrinkages after wash. So we have to find the average rates in between to find the the area that we can use one or two patterns, less pattern works to cut bulk. So that was, that's mostly issues to resolve, every single cut of production. So saying this manufacturing like work process, we like to go over a little bit about the denim manufacturing process. There's a pre-production side and production side. So if you can announce a little bit of what are the main steps for pre-production until we get fit approval, and and where do we start to process the developments, and then we jump to the production side of until the shipping and packing.
Definitely. So development can start in a few different phases, at least from when the customer brings that idea to me. Sometimes the customer will have a pretty developed product, right? They understand their measurements, they understand the material they're going for, the feel, the vibe of the product. Some customers come to me with a screenshot of a pair of pants. So it kind of varies in terms of that pre-production side, what step I'm going to take over that project. But in terms of, let's say a customer comes to me pretty prepared, they have their tech pack, they have their sew-by, at least a first sample to come bring me. From there, it's just about fine-tuning that product and getting it into exactly what the customer wants to the best of our ability. So let's say the customer brings me this pair of 5-pocket pant right here, and this is their first sample. We cut and sew it, we launder it, it comes out looking great. After this, there's a few notes that they can make and to communicate with the vendor, whether that's Christian or I, onto how to make that next sample better or get closer to production. So some of these notes could be the wash, decreasing the contrast or intensity and fade. Some of these notes could be fit-wise, decreasing the rise measurement, decreasing inseam, etc. Or it could be construction, for example, changing the waistband to a double needle, chain stitch, whatever the case may be. So after each sample, the way I like to work is having the customer review what sort of changes that they want made from that first sample to the next one. That kind of allows us to take a little break while they're reviewing, and then once they send us back their comments, we can make sure we diligently execute those changes, whether that's to the pattern and fit, whether that's to the wash, or whether that's to the construction. And once they present all of those notes to us, we're able to execute those changes properly. that process kind of repeats for me up until we get the product perfect. Once the product's perfect, we start preparing for production.
Yes.
And what we do there is we have the production rolls. We need to have all the materials in-house. That includes trims, tech pack. Most of the time, the vendor will require a deposit ahead of time. And at that point, you start testing out the rolls. If it's a wash style like this, you need to make sure that you test all the shrinkages of the rolls and be able to group them like Christian was mentioning earlier. And once you do that, you can go to production marking and grading, have the pattern maker grade out the pattern based on the sizes, create a marker, and then from there, it goes off to cutting and where they prepare the materials.
Thank you. That was very little, but in detail, but good enough to make our audience a little bit more understanding. But I have to shout out this brand. I mean, this is unlabeled yet, but this is one of my customer called LK Blue. Beautiful jeans that we've helped develop and produced. They're gonna launch very soon, probably next week on May 15th. I'll put the link down, and by the time this episode is up, they probably launched. So this
Go
is
buy
called
them down in the description.
lkblue.com. They have beautiful women's basic pair of jeans made in LA, with the efficient price point, and the owners are very good people, and let's support this brand. I had to squeeze in a little bit of support for my customers because I serve each individual brands and companies to see their successes, and that's my most happiness. Not because of money. I see people, and many times I had to say no to the customer because some people, because I care for them. If they're not ready for this denim industry, which is, it'll take a lot of money and patience to see the result. So I respectfully ask them, like, do you have financially support, and before we start anything. So yeah, I mean, many times I had to say no, but then later they come back to me and they appreciate my honesty and saying the truth, for them, not for me. If it was for me, I'll take the work, but I'm not like that. We're not like that. So we care for each brand, and we walk together, and sometimes even I have to invest my time. Sometimes even I have to spend some of my pocket money or savings to deliver this quality and on time and keep the promise with the customer. That's what I had to do, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
So we upfront, and ask, sincerely, like, if they're ready for this game. So, and then after they, join and start the developing, that's we really input our, hearts and knowledge and passion to make the best out of it.
Definitely.
So, yeah. Have you ever,
Could I add one quick point?
Yes.
To adding on to Christian's point about, sometimes having to tell a customer, hey, are you ready? Or asking some of those more serious questions. This is very important. We're in an industry, and I believe this is the similar case for many industries. I'm sure a lot of the viewers, depending on what industry you work in, could relate. There's anyone who will take the job. Someone will take the job and someone will do it for cheaper. And for us, this is a constant battle every day. We see customers every day come. Can you give me a price on this? They'll get the price, take it somewhere else. Hey, I have this price. Can you beat it? They take that price, take it to someone else and say, hey, can you beat this? And generally, sure, that works. It depends on how you want to do business. But I believe what Christian is trying to do is really create a valuable relationship and connection between his customers and walk with them as they continue to grow. And to me, that's the way I'd like to continue to do business. And it's been very inspiring to me. And yeah.
I mean, truthfully, like, many people tells me I'm not a businessman, or I'm stupid. Like, why are you doing this? but I can't help it. This is me, and I'm Christian before God. Like, I do my best and be honest in this industry, and never got any under money or move around with money. No, I enjoy developing and serving people, to see their like products, well constructed, and see their production comes out in good quality, good enough quality for them to really take off to the success route, and become bigger and bigger, or not bigger as like surface wise, but like gain the true respect from the customer and make the return customers. And that's where I see the true value comes in, because I pour all this passion and hearts and my knowledge and experiences to serve them, and then if they come back to me and we produce again, reorder or new styles, that make me so happy. It pays off all my.
It's a confirmation you did a good job.
Yeah, so that's what I try to do daily denim works, but through my works and business. But then at the same time, like I'm friends with many manufacturer or factory owners or brand owners in this industry. I want to cooperate with each other. I don't see them as competitors. We're all here for one goal: to serve these brands, to produce the best quality out of it, but with the efficiency price point. I know there's like minimum wages going higher, and the materials, chemicals at the laundry, tariff, everything is going. But we're the makers here. We have to maintain our business to fit our families here. And look at our workers at the factory. They dedicate their life to the sewing. They should get my goal is to feed them, pay them on time, with enough money to feed their family. So we walk all together, and every factory has their own customers, but I don't like to call them as competitors. If we can help each other, that's my dream and hope. We become all like supporters and work together and synergy to serve this brand the best out of it. So
yeah, in this industry, to bring back American manufacturing, I think that's the goal
yes.
of ours.
Yes. Do you agree on that?
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
yes. Let's do one by one.
Yes.
That's why I do this, and that's why I try to open up all the unnecessary like behind even costing that we're gonna talk right now. Margin, why not? Why not opening up and be truthful, and then you guys will understand, and then you come to, pay us for our, works, and I mean, I think we are reasonable to like we charge like 20% margin or profit or handling fee. I would say 20 to 30% is the industrial markup range, but many customer ask me like, what is handling fee? Why do we have to pay those fees on top of your making cost? And I've been telling them that trying to explain like making cost is basically the cost of the workers hours, and then handling fee, managing fee or margin is for us to maintain the business. And surface wise, like sometimes we have to fix the machine while we're producing the production, and mechanic comes in and we pay them $150, $200 to fix the machine, and electronic, and rents, and workers come
driving.
Yes,
so many additional expenses.
Delivering stuff to wash house, and so that contains for the handling and managing fee, and on top of that our time and effort and experiences, knowledge to try to save you like fabric yield, and we try our best, put our heads together with pattern makers. How can we minimize the waste of the fabric for production? Customer pays for the fabric. How can we make the best yield? Put all the puzzles for the pattern for the bulk, some sort of that. And then we always consider like laundry wise, like how can we make this product using less chemicals and less process to make what they look for, the style wise, surface wise. And that's what would input to save you money and make the quality out of it and best efficient price for you to have for your for you to have markup for your end consumer. So that's what's about our manufacturing margin and I'll say profit. But sometimes again, after all of the process, I look at my bank account and sometimes it's not enough and
The
it's
profit
minus.
was killed.
But then I have to move forward because I pour all the passion towards this brand, even it's not my brand. But I do all the engineering and then help them to walk and grow. Like if we put it as baby, like I help them. So
you nurture it.
Yeah, so that's what we do. And then if we see their success and end consumers happy and return, I mean that gives me happiness and satisfaction. So
Definitely.
yeah, tell us a little bit about your experience.
Even when I first started in this industry on that first clothing brand I mentioned a while ago, just screen printing T-shirts before we got into cut and sew, and using vendors abroad like in Pakistan and South Asia, and being a young person without much knowledge in the industry, and sending these people overseas thousands of dollars to produce a garment. You think you're saving some money doing it yourself until you receive the product, and then you realize that you wasted all of your money, right? You have an unsellable product. It doesn't fit. It's not the material you wanted. It's not even the style you wanted. So, some customers think, oh, okay, the margin, I'm going to go directly to the vendor and I'm going to save myself 20% or, a few dollars a pair. But having that person there that has the experience and knowledge to make sure that your product is executed properly, you're not saving 20%. You're making sure your product comes out well, which I think for most brands and businesses is invaluable. You couldn't put a price on that. And I think that goes a little bit more into the value that, we offer. It's not just a margin. It's ensuring that your product is done properly and can be sold to the customer.
And then we care for the product and your brand. So most of the time, jeans, if you don't care and just make it for the money, you would have to do like the fitting for a third time, fourth time to get the right fit because it has less care. But when we touch and care, and most of the customer with me, like 1 or 2 fit is the most. So it will save you cost of making samples, which is expensive to make samples.
Definitely.
Here. It could be like $200-300 per sample. And then pattern revision, like $200-300.
Yeah.
So you'll save a lot of money up front, and putting the right chemical on the wash, because every fabric has different finishing. So sometimes if you don't use right chemical at the wash, it cracks, it fights each other. So we support and
do the tests.
Yeah,
the
and then
legwork.
our experience tells that some chemicals it's not necessary to put on this certain fabric. So those are area that we're coming in and try to serve the right way and save money. So yeah, since we're talking about money now, it's the core thing about today's episode that we're gonna talk about a little bit of. We like to give you a little idea about the costing in made in LA. So for example, something like this basic 5 pocket. I know some of you guys are listening only audio, but like basic 5 pocket jeans, for example, with our Industrial minimum is 300 pieces per cut. So this will range you, not not including the fabric or the branded trims and labels. It will cost you to cut, sew, finish. It will range about, I mean, cutting with the 300 pieces, it will take about $1.50 to $1.75 each, and sewing could range to from $13 to $15, depends. And finishing, it's now like $4 to $5, depends. So, and then on top of it, that we went through, like our handling fee is 20%. So you add up a little bit, and it will come out like, I don't know, 35 to 40 or 20. Is it 28 to 35? And then there's pattern grading marking. If you put that into it, and it's about $2, $2.50 each.
Wash cost.
Yeah, and then wash. Yeah, without the wash, it's by 25 to 28, and then with the wash, basic washes nowadays, stone wash, it will take about $14 to $16 a pair. So it's about like, end up you're spending, without the fabric and the trims and branded labels and packaging, it's about like 55 to 65 range, made in USA. So
yeah, I mean, I see customers, especially with this tariff coming in, more customers are knocking on doors and shopping around. And I guess I didn't really know this multiplier before, but what I've seen is that the cost that customers that are purchasing products overseas or getting their labor done overseas, the price point they expect to be at is about a third or a quarter of what production costs here. And I think that is sort of the way I like to think about it. If you're creating a product over there, all of the labor, the wages, the standard of living, et cetera, is about a quarter of what it takes to do it here. For example, I had a customer that they told me for one style that they were getting that style for $20 FOB from China. After I did costing on that style, without a handling fee, it was at $75 or $80 per piece. And so that kind of goes to show the difference in production costs and labor costs. And, overseas, they have really specialized setups that are dedicated just for one style, or they have a lot more space of manufacturers to create dedicated lines to one thing. And that's not the same case here.
Yeah, adding to that is overseas manufacturing, you cannot really control the quality. Back in the days when I was designed for budget like denim line, I've produced like over 300,000 pieces every monthly in China and Vietnam. But if you squeeze the price, even for overseas factories, they go find the cheapest fabric, which is the most important start. They find the refurbished yarn fabric, and if you make denim with that, I mean, knee will pop out, and it wouldn't recover. It will rip. So many issues happening. So.
And this kind of taps into the topic I was discussing earlier about anyone will take the job, right? If they're forced to make the product at a certain price, they'll figure it out. They'll cut your material with polyester, or use some really bad material, or use refurbished thread, or they made a sewing mistake. They're not going to undo it and redo it. They're just going to leave it as is. So, your product cost may be cheaper, but you're dealing with 20% more damages, or however many more damages, and that has a negative cost on your business as well, right?
Do you guys hear that da 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 that song?
The ice cream?
Yeah.
It's pretty clear.
That tells us this is a industry.
Yeah.
This is denim industry.
We're in the spot.
Please bear with us. Yeah. So yeah, made in USA, made in Los Angeles. It makes different quality, and we don't take the job or works to just exchange
Move money.
No, we pour our passion, even though we don't know the future. Like, we do our best, and we sometimes out of pocket to make you satisfied and keep the promise to deliver the quality.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's what we do every day. And nowadays, denim industry, my friends and families, we're very cooperated each other to help and support to bring this industry back. So more than welcome to ask us any question. Come by to our denim campus location to for me to answer for your questions. Yeah, and yeah, made in USA denim cost is about like with the fabric and with the wash, it will take about lowest 65 to highest 85 for basic 5 pocket jeans with the quality. And if it goes to the fashion like jacket, it can go up to like 95 to 125 each with the base minimum. And if you guys need any lower minimum like 200 150, we usually up like 20% because of the quantity. And at denim campus here we also help produce 50 pieces 100 pieces, but the price will be like 30% more or 40% more. It depends on the style. But welcome, and let's experience and let's walk together with this journey. If you guys are ready, please contact us and ask us any question.
Put your questions down in the comments.
Yes. That's about what today's episode about. Like, we wanted to talk about. You have something more?
I thought you wanted to discuss the customer pricing. Do you want to do that?
Oh, yes.
Because we discussed the costing. So next, how much, if your pants cost $85 to make, how much can you sell them for, Christian?
Yeah, usually I ask, if you're direct to consumer, you do 3 times. Let's say 85 or $80. You sell at least 250 for your retail price. If you direct to consumer, and then if you try to do wholesale, it's kind of tough to do the wholesale without the quantity, because if you have bigger quantity, we can lower the price of making. But usually the buyer wants to pay you from 89 to 90, $98 for the premium denim. But then the price has to be like at least 3 times or 5 times from that wholesale price.
Definitely.
So,
and I think it also depends a bit on the product you're bringing too, like your position as a brand. If you bring a product that no one else has, at wholesale, you have a little bit more bargaining power into what percentage you're going to give them or what they're going to pay you for your product. So just thinking about the positioning of your brand, the balance, the quantity, all of these things are a factor in the outcome.
Yeah. So that's your math you have to do. And some people, they do just double. Let's say if their making cost is $80, they sell it at $150 to gain better relationship with the consumer. I personally think over 200 is a little bit overpay, knowing the making cost and being in the industry. I honestly don't buy product from premium brands. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Well, we'll see sometimes, these brands doing a 6-7 times multiplier, 8 times multiplier on their product cost. And, congratulations.
Yeah. But, we hope for the best for your business, but we like to see the true brand that, care for the consumer, like massive commercialized company. I respect them, but, they have to go their own route. But whoever upcoming and new starting brands, startup brands, I would suggest you to gain the true relationship with consumer, your customer, and that's the best to go for a long run.
Well said. Well said. Yep. Know your customer.
Yes. So we thank you so much for listening up until now. It's a quite a long video every episode, but we have to say a lot. We're even shortened what we had to say. But any questions, please feel free to ask us below the comment, or call us or visit us, email us. We'll do our best to answer you guys. And thank you again for listening and watching Let's Denim. Today we had Logan Taylor, amazing guy.
Thank you.
Next person to find in the denim manufacturing industry. Thank you for all. Thank you, guys.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Nice. That was fun.
Yeah.
Christian, I could do this with you every Friday, okay? Just let me know. I'll come.
Yeah. Thank you.